How's it going, ladies and Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to the VII Enigma. In the last episode, we ended up having to run Elijah's second set of memories because he was stuck in a loop and we were trying to get him out of it. We're not exactly sure if that worked yet, but it seemed like it might do. Now we're back to Beckett, the asshole who managed to survive his encounter with Pfizer last time. Beckett sits nervously in wait for Lionel's arrival. He sits attempting to order his thoughts and keep his calm, understanding the culmination of multiple failures has almost certainly sealed his fate. Yet even still, Beckett can see a path through the encounter if things go according to his designs. He knows he must choose his words carefully and wisely. Ah, Agent Beckett, thank you for waiting. Take a seat. Lionel struts into the room in his peculiar way, taking his usual seat and crossing one leg over the other as he leans back into the chair. It seems you've had quite a difficult time over the past few days, wouldn't you say? To think a Bureau operative got captured and blabbed information to a lowly criminal from the Western Sector. Quite the embarrassment, I must say. It was quite an unusual attack against me, I will agree. I suppose that is one way to put it. Agent Beckett, I can't understand how someone can make them such mistakes, one after another, with such regular succession. What makes it even more difficult to take was your reputation heading into this, particularly from a very trusted personal source. Please enlighten me, if you would, how I can reconcile the failure I see before me with the information I've been given. How did a Bosk operative entrusted with such a precious device manage to get himself captured and lose it within the space of a single day? Lionel speaks in a way as if suppressing a torrent of rage underneath, sufficiently courteous on the surface but with an edge of razor-sharp hostility that could overwhelm at any moment. Beckett knows the phrasing of his next few sentences will separate life from death. Sir, I don't know what information you've been given or by whom. All I can do is speak from the way I see things. To me it seems as if I'm caught in the middle of something very peculiar. Does it? And what might that be? Sarcasm dripping with rage flows from Lionel's tongue. And if I had to guess, I would say someone has tampered with the timeline and I'm somehow caught up in the middle of it. Explain. Lionel's manner immediately shifts in response to Beckett's assertion. Think about it. How on earth did that group manage to find Dr. Elijah Shaw in a locked facility? How'd they have ID blocking tech? Just how did those two assailants also manage to have that tech and capture me? It may look on the surface that I've just repeatedly made blunderous mistakes, but what if I'm just the center of something more nefarious? I am the belief the Bureau is under a covert attack utilizing future tech and information. Lionel takes a moment to think over the situation before responding calmly. You think the Tempest system has been used against us? I guess you do make a good point, and would explain some significant divergences I have noted also, I suppose. Though if that's all you have to say, then I guess this is the end of this conversation. I need results, not excuses. Even if the excuses are true, and somebody is plotting against us, I need someone who will overcome them. So are we done here then, Agent Beckett? As Lionel speaks, he repetitively taps his fingers on the chair's armrest, indicating a pulsing impatience writhing underneath. No sir, that's not all. However, before I say any more, I'd like to do a deal with you. Oh really? The unusual request causes Lionel to sit up in his chair, as if something suddenly taking an interest in the man before him. You do realize you're in no position to barter, or do you not realize how precariously your life hangs in the balance? I do realize, sir. I've always realized that when serving the Bureau. I know the ruthlessness of Bosk. I've always committed everything to one principle. Up or out, there is no neutral. Even now, sir, the situation will either launch me forward, or that'll be the end of it. I'll have it no other way. Lionel's eyes survey the man before him, before he breaks into a crooked smile. Excellent, excellent. I can see why he liked you. You echo the heart of all things climbing from chaos into order, an unrelenting vision to move forward despite all the entropic forces around you. Good, good. Very well. I'll at least hear out your deal. Tell me what you're proposing, Agent Beckett. I'll give you more info, and an extra promise on my part to go along with it. If you like what you hear, I want you to tell me what you know. Interesting. So you wish to climb up in this way. I shouldn't need to tell you this though, Agent Beckett, that knowledge is power. I will agree to this instead. If I like what I hear, I will give you some information of significance. I can't guarantee everything, of course. Such an action on my part would be the height of folly, particularly given your recent track record. Okay, very well. So tell me, what is it you think is going to change my opinion of you? It is true they got the jump on me. There were two of them, caught me by surprise. When I came to, I was cuffed in their hideout. You know all this already though. When I realized they were after Dr. Elijah Shaw, it struck me. We could turn this around and use it to our advantage. Oh really? How so? If they were after him, it means they have some kind of connection to him. They obviously have similar tech to that other group also, as I was never alerted of them using my devices, which auto-scan for suspicious tracking movements using the ID system. There was some kind of web of connection at play, and I decided I could use the situation to get information, and maybe even get them to lead us to him. I see, though they clearly didn't know where he was. That was why they captured you after all. True, which made me think that perhaps the groups were not working together. The connection was purely through Dr. Shaw. I tested this by giving her a little free information about the group we were tracking, to see how she reacted. Very interesting. Her reaction was very telling. She clearly knew who I was speaking about when I mentioned Amelia Miller, but her surprise showed me that she wasn't aware Amelia was with Dr. Shaw. Lionel gives no response, but simply smiles in delight at what he was hearing, and so Beckett continues on. Armed with this info, I knew she would likely go after Amelia Miller to find Dr. Shaw, and likely succeed. After all, they're both from the western sector, and there is obviously some kind of connection there, though I wasn't sure what that was. The final stage was to plant a tracker of some kind on this Pfizer, so that she would end up leading us to Dr. Shaw. I see. They had that device with them. The one I gave to you which they took when you were captured. Was it your plan to track them using that? Lionel asked in such a manner that the question seemed more like a test than an actual question. No, that was never the plan. There is no way they would have lasted that long in the shadows if they were so foolish. They would certainly check the device for tracing, and take the device offline as a precaution. Good. What's your plan then? Lionel asks with judicial eyes. When they captured me, they searched me and took away my main weapons, but they didn't find the tiny pinprick vials I kept stowed in the back of my pants. Now I just needed to plant them, and the job was done. That's what that attack was. Nanomachine trackers, I take it. That's right. After I realized the group that extracted Dr. Shaw couldn't be tracked using the neural ID system, I knew we needed something to combat that development. I had my assistant make them up, just in case they'd be useful. So yes, I managed to get the tracking nanomachines injected into her blood supply, and I'm fairly certain she didn't suspect a thing based on her reaction. It'll only be a matter of time before they find the group for us. If my hunch is right, which it usually is, it'll be sooner rather than later. Now for that attached promise. I will capture them this time without fail, and bring them to you as agreed. Lionel can't help but break into a maniacal smile as he responds with force. Good, this is more like it, Agent Beckett. This is the man I expected you to be, the man I heard you were from all reports. I must say that even I am impressed by your swift handling of that situation, as well as your foresight. Thank you, sir. I then take it I have met my end of the deal? Indeed you have, though of course you'll need to do more than this to fully regain my trust. This is what I will tell you for now. Okay, sir? I have been contacted by the 12 through the Tempest system. They have chosen me to implement on their behalf the culmination of all their many years and loops of planning. As Lionel continues, his voice grows into rapturous crescendo. Oh, how it feels to know that fate has chosen me to play the final role in bringing the curtains to the age of chaos. That all the people of the earth, and of all the versions of myself across many loops, that here would I stand, chosen to be the midwife. For that is what I am. I am chosen to ensure the safe delivery of the child who was chosen. And that chosen child is the system, the integrated humanity that will live into the age of order. All of history can rest, knowing their efforts were not in vain. I will not fail in my mission, for here we stand at the precipice, and myself, numbered 12, shall play my role as the midwife. Set on his heels, Beckett attempts to make sense of the sudden outburst from Lionel. He has come to know of Lionel's tendency to jump into such impassioned rants, and though knowing this fact, the sheer force and sudden nature of them seems still scramble Beckett's mental ability to process them. I'm not sure I'm following, sir. Right. I have said too much in any case. Lionel again abruptly switches his tone, taking on a more circumspect demeanour. Let me put it this way. 6 months ago I was contacted by the 12, the future leaders of Bosk, to execute Operation Aeon on their behalf. As I said, this is the ultimate culmination of their plans, and this is the first time it will ever be implemented on any loop. This will bring to completion their long-held vision. This loop we're on will become humanity's final loop, an ultimate reality. Operation Aeon? I have seen some of the preparations of that name happening in the city. Yes, since I was contacted almost 7 months ago, we have been working towards readying the system. Its completion is now upon us. What is Operation Aeon? And is it related to the device you gave me in any way? It came from the same base technology, though they're not really much related from at all beyond that. Instead of telling you about the system, I'd like to show you. Lionel's face twists into an eerie smile. Again, Agent Beckett, when I was contacted, I found some information out about you. This information caused me to put a very high degree of trust toward you, given your accomplishments from past loops. Without you, this project would not be where it is today. You should also stand present as a witness when we usher in the new dawn for humanity. As if catching himself, Lionel brings his tone back down, before escalating as before. Here is what I want you to do. Capture the group you have let get away from you, along with Dr. Shaw, and bring them to me at Bosk Tower. We shall activate Operation Aeon together, so that you may behold what it is with your own eyes. You may think you know what it is, but I can assure you it is more complete than you could possibly imagine. Okay, sir. I can only trust that when I do, it'll fill in the gaps I'm wanting to know. It will indeed. This will be your final test. I only ask that you wait a little longer before you bring them to me, so that we can ensure our final preparations for Aeon are complete. It should be somewhere between 1 and 2 weeks until we're ready. But sir, is it wise to wait that long to capture them? It is up to you when and how you capture them, as well as how long you wish to detain them before bringing them to me. I shall inform you in advance, and all I ask is that you ensure they are brought to me at the appointed time. I won't lose them twice, sir. I should hope not. To ensure all our plans progress smoothly, I also have a few extra cleanup jobs I'd like you to perform over the next week. Cleanup jobs? You would know well. The final rebellion normally plays out in about 6 months' time from now. That should be well established on your upcoming files. However, given the divergences in the timeline already, we can no longer go off what happened last loop now, can we? To ensure my finale takes place as scripted with no unforeseen complications, I'd like you to terminate the individuals who end up taking part in it. I'll send through the list of those I want taken care of. Okay, I'll do it, sir. To make the job smoother and quicker given the time frame, I'll prepare a similar unit to the one I gave you last time. I only hope this one won't be lost. Although Lionel's tone seems light enough on the surface, a deep terror lies underneath. Lightning won't strike twice in the same place, you have my guarantee. Okay, I'll have them send the device to you upon completion. Deal with the cleanup first, then retrieve Dr. Shaw and the group. They must be present in the tower by the evening, 9 days from now. It will be done. Lionel cannot help but smile as it appears a maniacal shadow starts to emanate from him. The stage is set. The final act of the Age of Chaos is about to play out. How much I look forward to seeing the grand conclusion. That guy enjoys his job way too fucking much. Back in the underground facility, the group keeps watch around Elijah, anxious to see his situation stabilize. How's it looking, Jasper? What's the latest? Ever since we made the switch, his brain patterns have stabilized significantly. They also seem to be closer to acceptable thresholds at this point. Which means? It means he's doing better, Levo. Why do we always have to explain everything to you twice? It's okay, he's trying his best. I know we're all stressed out. There's no point making this harder than it needs to be. Zyla's right. Let's all try to remain calm. Jasper, can you elaborate? What do you think's happening for him? Well, from his readings, it seems he's now reliving the experiences from the other set of dormant memories, and it seems to be progressing without a hitch so far. There are still signs of some distress, though it has lowered a lot from before, even below the point it was when he was reliving the other set of memories. Does that mean these memories are less traumatic than the others? Potentially, at least at this stage. It's pretty hard to tell exactly from these readings, but that is the most likely explanation. And all we can do from here is wait and hope that once the memories have all been relived, that it successfully jumps him out this time around. Yeah, just waiting around and watching is bad, but that's nothing next to what he's facing. You're right. Come back to us soon, Elijah. Within the world of Elijah's memory sink, he continues to withstand the torrent of information and emotions. His memories are stitched before him in unrelenting fashion. Today marks the second anniversary of the first reported case of FEV47, the disease that has shocked the world and changed our lives forever. Due to the overwhelming amount of infections and the struggles of our medical and government systems to handle them, it is unknown the true amount of cases and deaths from the disease. The World Health Organization estimates that there have been approximately 900 million cases, as well as many as 700 million deaths. The disease has touched every continent and country on the... I can't even listen anymore. There's been almost 1 billion cases in just 2 years. And that despite the strictest lockdown and quarantine procedures ever seen, The world is about to completely fall apart. It already has. Food, manufacturing, all the stuff we need to function is on the verge of being wiped out too. It's about to become a scary place out there in the world. I almost feel grateful we're locked up here in this completely secured facility. Me too. Never imagined these would be the circumstances I'd be bringing a little one into the world in. Tara takes her 2 hands and places them around her lower abdomen, where a small bump is starting to show. Me either. I guess you had me to blame for that one. She's pregnant? With my child? I definitely pity her. Having someone like me as the father? Carrying it in a world gone to hell? I do have you to blame. Even though I guess I should be worrying, I have a strange peace about it. About our child. Don't they say it's normally the opposite? You know, the whole motherly protection instinct thing? It might be because we're locked up safely in this facility. The government is sparing no expense to try and ensure this project succeeds. So we're beyond privileged being in here, where everything is taken care for us. I couldn't imagine what it would be like going through this on the outside. Tara looks to the large blacked out and sealed facility window with a look of lonesome empathy, her mind clearly enacting what it might be like trying to birth a child into the chaotic outside world. Let that feeling fuel us to finish this transmitter then. For every person out there suffering from this horrible disease, we owe it to them to succeed. It was the trust given to us that we must repay. You're right. No point feeling guilty, we just have to succeed. That's all there is to it. That's how we can make it up to the people out there fighting off the fear and chaos. Exactly. Even just talking now is getting me fired up again. I'm gonna get back at it. You and me both, let's do it. It's so different here to how they were on the other loop, almost like different people. You get her to sleep? Yeah, eventually. Geez, never thought I'd be so relieved to see a sleeping baby. The struggle was real. Now, you have the reward of working all night again, and the only thing at stake is the entire world. No biggie. Just one thing to another. Right, no biggie you say. Okay, time for more coffee. At this rate, I think we're going to run the world dry of all coffee. I know you're just kidding, but honestly, I don't even want to think about that. The lengths they're going to provide us all the things we need, even sourcing coffee for us in this climate has got to be pain. Hey, remember what we said? We promised we wouldn't feel guilty. Instead, we'll repay the trust shown to us by saving everyone and finishing this transmitter. You know that coffee might be contributing to saving everyone on the planet. It's just hard not to think about it. Over half the Earth's population has been wiped out now. The exponential spread of the disease. Stop, I know. Please, I don't want you to remind me. Let's just get into our work, okay? Overthinking this isn't helping. Sorry. You're right. Okay. Time to get into the zone then. Yes, it is. The 2 slide their chairs close to the monitor as they review their findings. Any of the data from the last experiment showing a higher hit rate on data transference? Not exactly. Once again, there is a small randomized chance of single bits of data being transferred, given enough attempts, but nothing that shows a consistently higher hit rate. Nothing that would suggest a better method of locating and transferring through the Tebas field. That's annoying. Well, on the bright side, we know we can get through it. Get through at least. And we know the receiver works. Just one more step and we're there. I like how you made the single most complicated problem in human history sound as simple as just one more step. Just trying to stay positive. It's been a while since we made any progress. I'm starting to get a bit worried. I know. We just need to keep looking at things from different angles. Tara slides her chair back and to face Elijah. Between the two of us, I'm sure we'll stumble upon the solution. I sure hope so. Thank you for taking the time to meet. Thank you, Chairman Rahel. We should say the same to you. Just Rahel will be fine. We don't need the formalities. I appreciate your time, sir. I heard you have a little one now. How old? She's almost 3 now. Time sure flies. It sure does. Unfortunately, for us, the more it does, the more dire things seem to become. Anyway, 3, that's a cute age. What's her name? Her name's Rhea. Rhea, huh? That's a nice name. I remember when my daughter turned 3 all those years ago. It was a lovely time. Do you have kids, sir? Had them. Sorry, it's alright. Like the majority of this world's population, they've been taken away by this plague. Yet here we are, still clinging to life, cooped up in our little cave, hoping for some way out of this. A wave of regret courses through Elijah as he watches the memories unfold. I really am clueless, aren't I? Safely tucked away in this facility while the rest of the world rots. See? You're a fool no matter the timeline. Shut up! Elijah seeks to silence the voices by paying close attention to the scene playing out. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know. Don't be. Unfortunately, that is the norm at this point. So much death, and eventually all you feel is numb to everything. There is no choice for us but to plod on forward at this point, likely in futility. There is a palpable dejection in the man's voice, yet along with it, neither gets the sense the man is willing to give up in the fight. Only that he's been crippled but not broken by the effects of this pandemic. Is the situation that dire out there, sir? Yes, to put simply. As you know, we have effectively been working as an arm of the government since this thing got serious. I've been meeting regularly with the heads of our government, as well as that of others, raising support and trying to give hope. To be frank, there isn't much left to hope out there. How are they progressing in developing a vaccine? It looks like they've finally made a breakthrough in their research. We're optimistic to have one completed in the next few years. That's great news, what a relief. Too little too late, really. Do you know what the last population figures are? No, sir, we stopped watching the reports a little while ago. They were fairly distressing. It wasn't helping our productivity. We just rely on the people on site here to fill us in if we need to know something. Can't blame you for turning a blind eye to it all. Latest estimates are there are probably only 500 million people left alive at this point. What? How? When? Well, it simply reached a critical tipping point. As a result of all the casualties, everything else started collapsing. Lack of food, lack of access to clean water, lack of doctors, lack of medication, lack of skills, lack of workers, lack of governmental control. It's all collapsing quite suddenly. People are now dying of minor illnesses due to lack of pharmaceuticals. People who need minor surgeries are now dying. Even if the disease doesn't get them, it seems like something else will. We've basically passed the point of no return now. What are you saying? I'm saying that even once we get the vaccination complete, there won't be much left of humanity to vaccinate. Even if there was, I don't know how the vaccine would be mass manufactured and distributed across the world at this point. Humanity's fall can't be stopped now. I don't know what to say. What about our project? If we can complete the transmitter, we can send the vaccine back to before this ever happened. Even if it takes 10, 20, 30 years, we can erase it. Well, there's no chance we can maintain this facility. Keep guarding you and supplying you with food that far into the future. Don't underestimate how dire things are. We'd be lucky if we managed to keep this going for 5 years. 5 years? It'd take a miracle to finish in that time. Well, that's partially why I'm here. If I'm going to convince what powers there are left to funnel what little they have into keeping this thing going, I've got to convince them that this is more than a pipe dream. I've got to show them something to convince them it's worthwhile. When things are this scarce, we have to convince them it's worth giving to. I know what you're saying, but this thing is obviously worth the investment. Think of the potential. We could save every single life. I know. But what can you show that will make them think that it could become a reality? Obviously, that is the potential, but that doesn't mean it's plausible. Tell me, do you really, and I mean really, believe you'll be able to finish this thing and say, the next 5 years? Can you assure me that you will complete it? I wonder what I will say. After a moment's thought, Elijah's past self gives a decisive answer. Yes, I can. I will complete this. No matter what, it will be done. Elijah. And what can I take to them that will get them out on side? We've already proven data can be transferred. We've already built a receiver. Just tell them we estimate to be completed within the time frame. Okay, be honest with me. What I'm hearing is that the device should be possible, though there are significant hurdles in your way. From what you said earlier, it sounds like it would take decades to complete, even if luck was on your side. You're now promising to be done within 5 years? Let's even assume I trust you, or side with you, just because of your sheer force of will. Still, how can I convince these guys? There's no other option. Like, it's either keep this going as long as you can, or give up. Like, you already said the vaccine's not good enough, so if this is the only option, you have to keep it going as long as possible, right? You're really not helping me out here. He's right, Elijah, let's be honest. We have no way of knowing if we'll find the breakthrough we needed. Even within our lifetime. I agree we need to keep working on this thing, but we also have to be honest about where this is up to. I will make it happen. There is no other option, and because of that, we have to succeed. Do you understand? We can't approach this any other way. That is the only way we must think. If we don't, we may as well just give up now. Damn it, this is a lot to take. Foolish! He doesn't understand what will come his way. But I do. I know the horror waiting at the end of this path. What utter foolishness, what complete naivety. To believe a happy end would even lay at the end of this path? He will sooner see for himself and despair. His resolve, I feel like it's clashing with the other me. This is way too much to balance. As he has many times before, he seeks to distract himself from the encroaching demons by focusing on the scene before him. I'm sorry, Dr. Shaw, your confidence isn't evidence. I can't take that to them alone. Well then, I'll just fabricate some evidence. It's not like those government types will know what they're looking at, right? I'll fill in a data sheet, sign off and say that the machine will be complete within 5 years, guaranteed. They won't know the difference. It's really up to you. If you vouch for it, they'll go for it. And if you can trust me, I will deliver. Rahil gives Elijah a suspicious look before turning to Tara. I heard what you said before about having no idea when it will be completed, yet Dr. Shaw is saying something very different. What do you think, Dr. Evans? What should I do? Should I trust him, even if it means doing the unethical thing? Tara takes a moment to think before herself responding resolutely. We can do it. He's right. It is the only way to approach this. It is possible in theory, so we will make it happen. Well, it's not like it matters at this point if we're slightly unethical. Not if there's no world left afterwards to care about such things. If you ask me, I say it's worth the gamble. Of course it's worth the gamble, because you don't have any other fucking... You're gambling on the only option. Alright, do up your sheet. Make it look convincing. I'll go get your support. You have 5 years max to save the world. By that time, there won't be much of a world left. So understand the last of humanity's resources will be poured into buying you both as much time as possible. Build the transmitter, send the vaccine, and save the world. Right, don't worry, we will. I sure hope so. To be honest, I'd like to forget these years ever happened. Rahil switches his tone, adding an air of vulnerability missing from the earlier conversation. You know, at night I often dream my family is still around. Life continues on in there as normal. Those happy, everyday, mundane things I never knew were so precious. When I awake, it's like returning to the nightmare. Should you succeed, that dream fantasy may very well turn into reality. And this hellish world would become a thing that was nothing but a dream. It wouldn't just be me either. I know basically everyone left on this planet would share a similar sentiment. Rahil, sorry, I got a little sentimental there. Rahil changes back to his matter-of-fact persona as simply as a change of wardrobe. Okay, leave the behind-the-scenes stuffs to me. I'll oversee everything and make sure you have everything you need to work safe and unhindered. You two, pour everything into this and don't let us down. Erase this nightmare for us all. You have 5 years. Yes, sir, we won't let you down. It's not just me. Don't let down every soul taken by this pandemic. We leave it to you. Right. No pressure. Pfizer and Mia huddle in the tunnel systems. Having abandoned their hideout after being stormed by Bosk, they evaluate their next move. It's pretty lucky we managed to get away. We're going to spend the night down here? Not sure yet. I have no idea how many resources will be thrown into trying to capture us, but I'd say it wouldn't be smart to head up right now. I guess we were too slow in getting information out of Agent Beckett. I knew they'd come from him, but that was really quick. Normally it takes people a day or two before suspecting someone's missing, particularly someone in authority like him, yet they were onto it by the next morning. I guess he must have had somewhere he had to be, or someone who realised fairly quickly that something was out of the ordinary. Unlucky for us, at least he still managed to get the information out of him we needed. I was surprised he told us that, actually. Yeah, I don't know what he was playing at. Something felt off about that whole encounter, I can't think of what. Anyway, we got the info we needed to track down Elijah, so that's all that matters. I just hope he hasn't done anything stupid. We really are putting a lot of effort into finding him. We sure it's worth it? I can't abandon him now. I know he wasn't in the best state, but that doesn't make it right to ditch him. He was a part of our team after all, and his devices have helped us a great deal. I think we need at least to make sure he's okay, even more so now that we know that this group has taken him. What do you make of that anyway? I honestly don't know. A strange group abducting Elijah? Perhaps they needed information, or maybe they planned to force him to build them tech like he did for us. It's hard to say. I don't see any obvious connection between them though, so I don't think they broke him out purely out of the goodness of their hearts. We must be careful. Nobody has broken into a secured Bosk facility and lived to tell the tale. This group must be no joke. You think he's in danger? Could be. He'll likely be used as a hostage or pawn of some kind. Either that or he's being tricked. You said you knew that girl. Amelia, was it? What is the connection there? And why do you think it'll lead us to Elijah? Yeah, she's a Western Sector local. Pretty well known around the place. Pretty easy to know why when you get a look at her. I helped her out around a month ago for an off-the-books kind of job. I guess that job was connected to all this. I never would have guessed that. What kind of job? She wanted me to connect her with someone who could source a vehicle, and specifically one that would be able to evade the eye of the Bureau. So she was after a modded one that the Bureau couldn't track. You sent her over to see Riley then, yeah? Kind of. Riley won't see someone he doesn't trust. so she paid me to source it for her. I bought it from Riley and kept the difference. Ended up getting a pretty decent cut, I must say. Wasn't a bad job at all. Did you ask her what the vehicle's for? She said no questions asked, so I left it at that. We needed the money too, at that stage, so I was just happy to take the job. She must have gotten recruited by this group and was acting on their behalf. She's young and starry-eyed, probably an easy target for whoever this group is. It's strange though. Modding the car in that way surely isn't that useful. Not unless you can also block the neural ID system too, like we can. I don't know, there's a lot about this group that doesn't add up. I do know I'm the only one Riley has done that type of job for though. The mods he does off the books are normally minor things, not things of this nature. Okay, so how does this help us find where Elijah is now? When I bought it off Riley, I was given all the vehicle's registration info. The mod gets it taken offline from the Bureau system so they won't see it on the traffic network. In fact, the way Riley does it, the unit number will disappear completely as if it was never manufactured. However, if you already know the exact unit number and force a manual ping specifically for it, not through the traffic system, then it can still be located. You kept the registration information even after you sold it? Sure did. Bit of insurance for me in case something went south down the line. She seemed clueless and was happy just to get the vehicle and run. That means you can run a ping to locate it, and provided they're still with the vehicle, we'll be able to find them too. Exactly. But couldn't Bosk use this too? No, they couldn't. There's no way to run any kind of scanning search for the vehicle, and on their records, the unit number won't exist. There's no way Bosk could know the vehicle ID they're using in the first place in order to force a manual ping. Good, so we shouldn't have to worry about Bosk nipping at our heels then. Looks like it's pretty clear what we need to do now. Yes. They must have travelled somewhere outside the city, otherwise it wouldn't have been worth the effort to source a car. Let's make our preparations to gather our supplies. We'll head out right away. Okay, I'll get to work then. It's time to get Elijah back. And with that, we're out of time for this episode. And we're back in Elijah's mind again. This memory thing is going to go on for some time, I think. But it must be coming to an end soon, surely. Because they need to get shit done because everyone's starting to encroach on them now. If Pfizer find us, which it sounds like they will, then Boss can find us, and then we'll have to have a showdown with Beckett. And that could go badly. He's a pretty determined son of a bitch, isn't he? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks again, Alfie, and I'll see you in the next one.